Well, the 2016 budget was presented to Parliament by Minister of Finance Ravi Karunanayake today.
This was incidentally the 69th budget presented in the country.
Now, this is also the first budget presented by the consensual government and is aimed at reaching long-term economic development.
Minister of Finance Ravi Karunanayake began the budget speech elaborating on the government's income status.
The Sri Lankan economy is stuck in a huge debt stock and a high deficit as well. However, I wish to reiterate that the debt and deficit mess that we inherited is not of our making, and we condone the situation in no uncertain terms. We need to take positive action to make an innovative difference and deliver results which are acceptable from not only an economic viewpoint but also from socio-political aspects. Servicing of debt uses up all the government revenue, which imposes heavy constraints on recurrent and capital expenditure. With an expanding debt profile, debt dynamics had shown some remarkable shifts. In the outstanding stock of foreign debt, the share of commercial loans had gained momentum during the recent years.
Presenting the budget for the year 2016, the Finance Minister elaborated on the plan to encourage micro, small and medium enterprises. The budget proposed to implement a credit guarantee scheme in the year 2016 with Rs 500 million to encourage the micro, small and medium enterprises involved in horticulture, floriculture, food industry, fruit and vegetable, inland fishing, beauty culture, ornamental fish and etc. In order to promote this initiative, it is proposed to reduce the applicable corporate income tax by 50% for venture capital firms for a period of 5 years, which will commence by April 1st, 2016. It has been proposed to provide the existing fertilizer subsidy scheme to small-scale paddy farmers and a cash grant of Rs 25,000 covering the production year. Yala and Maha will be provided to farmers for a maximum extent of 1 hectare. The budget proposes to remove the import duties pertaining to import of agriculture, machinery and equipment and a reduction of the tax on seeds and planting materials. The 2016 budget proposes to give a guaranteed price of Rs 50 per kilogram of kirisamba, Rs 41 for a kilogram of samba and 38 rupees per kilogram of nadu and other varieties. It also proposes to reduce the price of a 400-gram packet of locally manufactured milk powder, which is another main commodity, to Rs 295. The government plans to introduce a life insurance cover of Rs 1 million for the fishermen who meet with accidents when at sea and encourage the private sector to engage in fish canning. The government proposes to allocate Rs 1,500 million for a cluster village in order to develop the infrastructure facilities. The budget notes that taxing of gold is superfluous and proposes to adopt a scheme where 50 licenses will be issued, allowing import of gold free of all import duties. It proposes to introduce a national digital identity, and it is envisaged by end of 2018 all the government buildings be connected electronically, adding that this will enable the servicing of around 70% of the day-to-day transactions online. A number of relief has been provided for foreign direct investments. The budget proposes to remove the tax imposed on the leasing of land to foreigners and also proposes to grant a 50% tax reduction for a period of 5 years to any new company setting up facilities in such areas. The budget notes that the Agency for Development, which will replace the BOI, will ensure that applications for foreign investments are completed to commence business within 50 days. It has also been proposed in the budget for the establishment of a development agency instead of the investment board, and that the administration of all export processing zones be entrusted to the private sector. It has also been recommended that the loose oil market be opened and that facilities be made for competitors who wish to enter that market. The significance of this budget is the fact that the supergain tax, which was imposed by the interim budget presented earlier this year, has been removed in the budget presented this evening. The budget has also proposed for all underutilized state lands be provided for agricultural and investment projects. The budget has allocated a sum of 500 million rupees for the establishment of a land bank. It has also been proposed through the budget to provide 100,000 units of housing through private-public partnerships within a period of 5 years. A special housing project is to be initiated to provide middle-level government and private sector employees on state-owned lands in Colombo, Jaffna, Kandy, Mathura, Batticaloa, Putlam and Kurunegala. The budget has also proposed that tax concessions be provided for building materials, steel, tiles and sanitary ware. It has been recommended that an allowance of 10,000 rupees be paid monthly to trainees in the building and construction industry. The budget has proposed a revision of import taxes on garments, shoes, electronics and electrical items and other accessories to encourage spending by the tourists and to evolve into a shopping paradise of the region. While it has been proposed to liberalize the foreign currency changing business subject to a license fees and guidelines issued by the central bank, a Colombo International Financial Center is to be established. The proposal suggests that the Colombo International Financial Center will be constructed in DR Vijayawardena Mawatha, adding that its operations will be ready to commence by the 1st of April 2016. Minister Ravi Karunanayake has also proposed in the budget that licensed banks should concentrate on their core banking activities and that such banks should cease in engaging in leasing businesses from the 1st of June 2016. It was also proposed that employees open bank accounts for the purpose of remitting their salaries. The budget has also proposed charges on valuation certificates of vehicles to obtain finance facilities. Thereby, the charges applicable for motorcycles and three-wheelers will be 2,500 rupees, while valuations on all other vehicles, including motor cars, will be rupees 15,000. Moreover, the budget has proposed to offer 15% interest rates to citizens above 55 years of age to be applicable to deposit up to 1.5 million rupees. The budget also proposed to introduce necessary legislations to extend the time period for making contract employees permanent to 1 year. While a sum of 90,000 million rupees has been allocated for education, several programs are to be formulated where all teachers will be able to undergo continuous teacher training as well as to improve infrastructure facilities in schools. Minister Ravi Karunanayake also proposed in the budget that money be allocated for the construction of a university named Mahapolo University in Malabe. The budget proposes to restructure and reposition Sri Lankan Airlines with professional management inclusive of local and foreign experts to be a regional airline, and Mihin Lanka will be positioned as a no-frills budget airline. It proposes to make a lump sum payment per person of rupees 250,000 to July strikers. The budget proposes to reduce the price of 11 selected essential commodities. The government proposes to reduce the special commodity levy of potatoes and onions by 25 rupees per kilogram. The budget proposes to reduce the price of a canned fish tin of 425 grams to 125 rupees and to limit the maximum retail price of sprats to 410 rupees per kilogram. The budget proposes to implement maximum retail price of 169 rupees per kilogram of dal in order to provide a reasonable price and completely remove the special commodity levy imposed on dal. It has been proposed to impose a maximum retail price of 1,100 rupees for a kilogram of khatta, which is the most consumer-demanded dried fish variety, and to impose a maximum retail price of 425 rupees for a dried fish kilo of salya. The budget proposes to impose a maximum retail price of rupees 169 for a kilo of chickpea in order to provide relief for the consumers. The budget proposes to reduce the price of a 12.5 kg gas cylinder by 150 rupees with immediate effect and to reduce the price of 1 litre of kerosene by 10 rupees in order to provide relief to the poor. The budget for 2016 proposes to restructure the present corporate income tax rate structure to a two-rate band system with a higher rate of 30% and a standard rate of 15%. In line with the government policy of creating a society free of tobacco, liquor and betting and gaming, the budget proposes to impose a surtax at the rate of 25% of income tax liability. The government proposes to increase the tax-free annual threshold of rupees 2.4 million and the PAYE tax over and above this limit to be charged at uniform 15%, and the taxable income will be inclusive of all the earnings by the employee with no exemptions. This method and rate will also be applied for individual income earners instead of the present progressive rate of up to 24%. Further, any income from secondary employment will also be taxed at the same rate without any exemptions. The budget proposes to abolish applying 2.5% withholding tax on deposits with the effect of 1st of January 2016.